Oh, my
Welcome,
color.
welcome, welcome. Hope everyone's having a fantastic day. Let's see if we are on live. Welcome to the Agent Resource Podcast. So, as you're coming in, a huge favor would be
Huge.
letting us know if it's working. That would be awesome.
Massive, please. Massive favor.
All righty. So going over here, it says it's on live. Give it 2 more seconds, but I see ourselves. That's a good thing over here.
That's a step in the right direction, certainly.
All right. Let's see. And then this group. We probably should not have fired our producer.
You're doing a great job, man. Doing a great job.
Okay. So I think we can hear, at least I can hear myself over here. Do you want to speak a little bit?
Yeah, can you hear me okay? Mic check. Can you hear me okay?
This is on the delay. I think we're going to be good.
Okay.
I
Yeah, I
think
think
we're going to be
people
good.
if they come in, hopefully they'll let us know if they can hear us or not.
As you're coming in, a like is going to go a long way, but also more importantly is comment. Can you hear us okay? So we are broadcasting over on Facebook and also we are broadcasting on the YouTube. So without further ado, let's get into it. Welcome to the Agent Lead Source Podcast. Today we're looking at referrals, but beyond just looking, we're going to share with you how to get an infinite amount of referrals, get referrals on autopilot, and really systematize it so you can have some predictability to your referrals. But before we go there, it's a tradition that we must honor at the Agent Resource Podcast. Joseph, what time is it in your neck of the woods and what's new? What's going on?
9:23 p.m., man. What is going on? There's always something going on, right? When you have kids, there's always something. My son had a half day today. He has a day off tomorrow, so we're gonna have to figure out how to fill that day. I might take him to the zoo now that I'm thinking about it. But yeah, business as usual, family as usual, same stuff, man. Just keep on grinding until I don't have to grind anymore, to be honest with you. And you're back from Mexico. I don't know if you let everybody know that you were gone, or I'm sure they probably saw from your YouTube channel, your different location. But yeah, welcome back to, I would say welcome back to the States, but I'm in Singapore, but welcome back to the podcast, I should say.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So just because the audience is owed the explanation. So we took about a 4-week hiatus. It was something that we really couldn't control. So I did have to go to Mexico the first time, August 5th, and this might be TMI, but I think I owe it, and I think it'll provide context. August 5th, my grandfather passed away, so flew down there and stayed a few days with my mom and my dad. So it's from my mom's side. And then so went down there, spent a few days, flew back on a Monday, the 14th or so of August. And then the 16th, so 2 days later, after I was already back, I got a text from my brother that my grandmother passed away. So August 16th, I believe I have the dates right, but I could be wrong. It's been an interesting August. So I then flew back that night as soon as I got notification and spent about another 9-10 days there. So just back in the saddle. That's why we were not going on live. And so just want to make everybody aware, not for pity or anything else like that, but because we've been fairly consistent with our podcast, and we kind of pulled a plug for a bit because the internet connection down there isn't great, and there's some other pending things. That's the full explanation. That's my story. I'm sticking to it, but we are back on the saddle, getting ready to get into some referrals. So let us know in the chat where you're listening from. If you can hear us okay, please don't be shy about that. Awesome blossom.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find the screens to where the chats are, but I'm not being successful.
I'll also jump into to YouTube to give it a look as well while we're at it.
Awesome. Cool. Well, let's get right into it. I say right into it after 10 minutes of dialoguing. Real estate referrals. Let's level set the playing field. I know that a lot of new agents listen to this podcast, so I want to make sure that we're all speaking from the same hymnal. When it comes to referrals, what do they mean? What are they? So you, as a real estate agent, you have a license to do business pretty much anywhere. Yes, you are licensed in your state. So actually, Joseph, both he and I are licensed in the state of Texas, even though he's in Singapore. But you could also be licensed in other states and all that fun stuff and do business as yourself with your name and signing everything. But what we as real estate agents, what we really need to get a full grasp on is that you have a license to do business pretty much anywhere and also get compensated for that. So what does that mean? That means that if you have your best friend from, let's say, Dallas, Texas, move to California for whatever reason, they're going to San Francisco, well, you're able to connect your best friend with an agent in San Francisco that's licensed to do business in that state, California, and you get to profit from it. Now, the question becomes, how much do I profit from it? Referral fees, they come in all shapes and sizes. You can do 20%, 30%, 50%. I've seen much higher than that. Just depends on how much work goes into the transaction and how much time the agent that is going to do the work invest in it. But effectively what happens is when your best friend goes to San Francisco and they buy a house and they work with that agent that you referred your best friend to, they're going to cut back a check. Let's just call it 20% for the sake of the walkthrough. And you effectively, all you needed to do was pick up the phone, make that connection, and you're hands off. And that is literally what you call mailbox money. Is that about right, Joseph?
Yeah, I think that's right. I like that strategy, like thinking of it from a perspective of one of your friends moving away. One of the things that I've been running into with a lot of our agents, or a lot of agents in general, they worry about, especially the military spouses, whether it's a wife or husband, and they're moving to a new city or state. The thing that they say is, well, how do I start over? Right. And whenever they say that, I'm like, well, think about this. You're leaving. If you were doing well in your past city or state, why would you stop marketing? Right. Can you hear me okay, Jaime? Right. So why would you stop marketing in that city or state, that location that you were previously, if you were having success? Continue marketing there and allow the people who are there, the agents that are there and people who were in your office previously, to pay your referral fee. You know them, hopefully you like them, but you know for sure they're going to pay your referral fee, and you know that you can get business there as you're transitioning into your new location. And whenever I tell agents this, it's like their mind is blown sometimes. I'm like, as long as your license is there, you've already paid your board fees, why wouldn't you make money? It doesn't make any sense. And continue to help the people that want your help. Like, hey, I'm not there, but I'm here to help facilitate the transaction and the relationship with this agent that I'm going to be handing you off to. And so if there's anything that goes wrong or anything that you have a question about, you can still reach out to me, right? Because I want to earn my referral fee, right? And so a lot of agents actually don't think about that as well. And then, of course, we'll talk more about how to just create a completely referral business later on. But those are two different ways to look at getting referrals without having to, quote unquote, sell real estate.
Yeah, no, that's so powerful. And I think that a lot of that hard wiring, or maybe rewiring is a better way of saying it, seeing it for an actual business, like when it comes to like talking about referral business, you operate a massive referral business yourself. And as we mentioned, every single podcast, including today's, you're in Singapore. So the ability for you to be very, and purposeful with where your strengths are, which is building a business, generating leads, generating conversations, and everywhere, being able to do that everywhere, you're able to capitalize with agents that need the business. There's nothing wrong with that. It's an equitable exchange. No one is depends on how you view the world, really, is what your opinion is going to be on what a referral fee is. Like, well, why do you get 25%? Well, why do you get 75% when I could go offer 75% to somebody else? Like, are you busy? Like, if you're busy, I'm sorry, my apologies. If you're too busy, I don't want you to help my best friend. If you're that busy, please don't help my best friend. I would much rather you have 100% of whatever the hell you're doing versus 75% of me going on reputation based, giving you my lead. That was a mini rant, but I think that I'll stop there.
No. So here's the thing about a lot of agents, and not all of them, right? But there are a lot of agents who'll say something like you just said. Well, why do you deserve 25%? It is about how you view the world as a person and as an agent. So I'll give you an example in one of my chats, and this is kind of a roll back into referrals. The question was, hey, I talked to this FSBO. They're willing to list with me, but they want to do it for 1%. It's like, okay, you can play it two different ways. You can be resentful that they only want to give you 1%, or be thankful, right? And try to get the contract on the buy side, and you're walking away with 4%. What do you want? Do you want 4% or do you want 0%? Right. And so a lot of agents, at least whenever I used to, before, the housing market changed to what it is today, they used to be like, I'm not ever going to do less than 3%. And now you see people who are saying they're like, I'll take 1%, 1.5%. And so the same thing goes for referrals. I'm running into agents who are saying, well, I can't give you 25% because my broker takes and my team take 50%. Well, that's a personal problem, right? If you're coming to me to get business and you're not getting business from your team and you're asking me to cut my referral fee, that's not my problem. That's yourself running your business the wrong way, right? Because if your team is not providing you enough business that you have to come to me to get business, that's a personal issue, and that's your broker and your team's issue, and you need to solve that problem. Because if you're coming to me and I'm giving you business, I want my 25% because I'm essentially running like a broker or a team lead to get you business. It doesn't make any sense to me for you to say, hey, Joseph, why do you deserve 25%? I'm bringing you business that you don't have, right? And so I really find that interesting whenever I have conversations with agents and they tell me that. I'm like, hey, you're giving 60% away, but you're giving 60% of nothing away because they're not giving you anything. That is not my problem. So agents who are listening to this, make sure you're structuring yourself properly to be able to get referral fees, because you don't want somebody to say, hey, I really like you. I think you do great. I think you're a great person, and I want to hand you one of my best friends who's going to sell a $500,000 house, and I would expect a referral fee. What are you going to say? No, I can't do it because my team takes 50% of my commission. It's like, okay, well, I'll give it to somebody else. Somebody else is going to pay me 25%. So you need to make sure that you're protecting yourself as well. And brokers, if you're listening to this, I'm not knocking you. If you're providing good business to your agents and, you deserve what you deserve. But if you're not doing a great job, and the agents who are listening to this should know, if they're not getting business from you, what's the point of doing it, right? Running a team. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. So speaking of rants, that's my rant for you for the evening.
No, that was perfect. I was just dropping the link on the new agent group. So we're going live in a different way now. But no, so that's perfect. Let's shift gears. I think that we've established what referrals are. We've established a little bit of the context of why this is important, and sharing a bit more beyond hey, these are strategies got to implement. So I think that we've done a good job clarifying that. So if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them down in the chat. As soon as I find it, I'll read it. But let's just jump into some strategies on how you actually generate referrals. So one of the best ways that you can generate referrals is to join referral groups. There are a lot of referral groups on Facebook. There's some referral groups on LinkedIn. There are professional real estate professional referral groups. Some of them are specific for real estate agents. Some of them are specifically for mortgage professionals. Now, not going to touch that side because there you run into RESPA, and you can't really compensate lenders in This is mostly for real estate agents anyway, but it's still worth a join for you joining those groups because there's still referrals going all over the place. So when you join these referral groups, you can do that again on Facebook, LinkedIn, not necessarily Instagram. What Clubhouse has become a referral group central as well. It just requires a bit more activity and being more present. But effectively, what you're doing is you're leveraging social media to meet more real estate professionals. So in the past, where you were, I don't need to meet more real estate agents. I don't want you watching my content. I don't want you even friending me because you're taking a spot away from my buyers and sellers. You were shooting yourself in the foot if that was your mentality, because what you're saying is, hey, this real estate agent in Florida, I'm not going to be friends with them and have them be one of my 5,000 friends, because that can push out a buyer or a potential seller from my friends group. If you're thinking about it that way, then I ask you to reconsider, because that agent from Florida, well, they have access to a network as well. They have access to a lot of people that could potentially move into your neck of the woods. Depends on where your neck of the woods is. So we need to start reframing that and join, being in collaboration with real estate agents, because there's a huge opportunity there for you. They may not have somebody moving from Florida to Texas as an example, but they may see a post. They may be aware of a need from an agent in North Carolina coming down, or a client for an agent in North Carolina coming down to Texas. So it's to your benefit to have your name come up and be synonymous with Texas. So these referral groups, going back to the point, just kind of setting the stage there, these referral groups exist in just plenty. There's some massive groups. There's 10,000, 50,000, 80,000 members in some Facebook referral groups that are only designed for referrals, where you see every single day somebody posting, need a buyer's agent in Traverse, Michigan. I just saw that before we went on live. So that's where Traverse City kind of came to mind. I need a listing agent in New York City. I need an X, Y, and Z. So you see all of these opportunities. So effectively, a referral is going to be one of the easiest leads to convert, or one of the simplest leads to convert, because somebody else is vouching for you, because they're vested in the success as well, because you're the difference between them even getting that 25% or 20%, whatever you offer. Because if you don't close that, then they don't get compensated either. And you are leveraging somebody else's reputation. So these referral groups, super powerful.
No, I think that's fantastic information. By the way, I don't know why I keep saying no, or no. That's one of my pet peeves that I just absolutely, some of my family members do it. I'm like, why do you say no before you're saying the point? Or why do you say no before you say yes? Like, no, yes. Anyway, I digress here, but I really enjoy that point on the Facebook groups. There are a couple of new things that have rolled out. And if you're listening to this now or watching this, take note. There is now the opportunity to actually go into Facebook groups and tag yourself and on your actual Facebook page for words that you want to be alerted for, right? So you can go in there and tag referral or tag your city name. And if somebody mentions that, guess who gets notified? You do. So you go to your notifications like you do every day. If you're in Facebook, click on notifications, and you'll probably be alerted that somebody tagged that city in whatever Facebook group you're in. That's number one. Number two, most of you who have followed our podcast or watched the YouTube channel here, you know that I'm a huge fan of organic secret marketing, and understanding how to do that properly can really grow your business. I'll give you an example on how I would do this, and I might do it today because I just love to test things out. I might do it while we're on the call, actually, on the podcast. But you go into these large real estate Facebook groups, real estate agent specific, and you post this. Where have you sent the most referrals to this year? Or what city have you sent the most referrals to this year? And all you're looking for is cities and towns that are close to you. And whenever you ask that question, to make it not seem so spammy, you say, um, let's do a better job of sending referrals to each other. What city have you sent the most referrals to this year? And that allows other people to see where these people are sending referrals to. Anybody who's even close to you, remotely close to sending referrals to your location, those are people you friend. Those are people you send a message to, and let them know who you are. And if you have a YouTube channel, you have your videos. You say, hey, if you want to check out who I am, you get to know who I am. You have reviews. You send it to them so they get to know who you are, and they want to actually send you those referrals. But that's an organic way to find out who is sending people to your city for listings or for buying, right?
That is huge. That is huge. So hopefully, if you're listening to the podcast or you're listening live, please go back and check that out, because that's something that this isn't going to cost you anything. You know, oftentimes you have to pay somebody for that information, period. So just for the information of something that Joseph just shared and what you're going to hear in the rest of this podcast and what you've heard already, you've had to pay for that information. Oftentimes, if you're looking for somebody else to do this for you, there's that service cost that you have to pay $500, $1,000, $2,000, whatever you pay your marketing company, lead generation company, whatever. But here, when it comes to the referrals, you get paid when the transaction actually happens. You get paid, and it costs you what, 20%, 25%, whatever you end up agreeing with, where you get the benefit of somebody else's trust, somebody else's network, and now you get to work with them. No one's precluding you from doing your own lead generation strategies, from generating your own buyers, from your own sellers. That's not what this is about. What this is about is you can have a very robust referral game where not only are you receiving leads and referrals from other agents, but you're giving out referrals. So you're receiving an opportunity, which is going to be, let's just call it 75%, meaning if you do the dirty work, if you will, buyer or seller side, whatever, you receive 75% that you would not have gotten any other way. On that flip side, for somebody that somebody's moving away to another city, another state, another region, then you get 25% of something that you never would have had access to anyway. So that's where we as real estate agents, we can learn from just that understanding that you have access to beyond your immediate radius, beyond your farm that you work, if you really start putting in some effort, actively seeking this business. And then also we'll talk a little bit about our second strategy, which is more along the lines of getting people attracted to you. But this is something that we really cannot miss because the opportunities are out there. It just requires a little bit of work.
So Jaime, I was thinking as you were talking about this, it's a mind shift thing for a lot of agents. A lot of agents think it's costing me 25%. I have to pay. Like, even you said it, and I say it too. It should be, I get to receive 75% for free, basically. Right? I'm getting 75%. And let's be honest, we don't work that hard as agents. Yeah, you can say you work hard and you grind, and you're not digging ditches, people. You're not working that dang hard. I'm sorry. I love you, but it's, yes, you have late nights and things like that, but you're typing on the keyboard, typing on your phone. And yes, you do spend some time away from family. You just got to learn to manage your time better. But that doesn't mean you work, to the bone. So getting the privilege to receive 75% of a deal that you were never going to know about anyway, you should feel like it's a privilege. You should feel honored that you're able to do that, and honor that somebody is willing to help you that way. And that 25%, that's just opportunity cost, right? And that's, if you know how to run a business, that opportunity cost is nothing, right? In the grand scheme of doing business. I will give 25% I'll give 75% to 1,000 agents to make 25% on 1,000 deals, right? It's just smart. And if you think differently and you're going, I'm not going to give away 25% because, or I'm not going to give away 25% because I'm going to miss out on, 25% of a deal. That just doesn't make any sense. It never has made any sense to me. I'll give an example of that type of thinking. one of the agents who actually just called me while we're having this podcast. He and I were having a conversation. He just got a $2.9 million listing. By the way, the person who gave him the listing was trying to do FISBO. They were a past agent, retired, and they were going to try. They had, I guess, reached the point of, okay, I'm probably going to need an agent at some point, but I don't want to pay agent. And he happened to, talk to him at the right time. He's doing it for 1.5%, right? He's going to make $40,000. He could have said, "No, I'm not taking it. I'm not taking it less than 3%," and walked away from $40,000. It just doesn't make sense, guys, to look at the business from a negative perspective. Every opportunity is a blessing, right, in this game. And it's a blessing to feed your family. It's a blessing to pay for your expensive car if you have one. It's a blessing to pay for your kids' college or their whatever they need, whatever your spouse needs, whatever you need. And if you look at it any other way, you're just being, frankly, stingy, the way I look at it, to be honest with you. And not to say that you don't deserve money and for your efforts, but it doesn't mean that you deserve everything you think you deserve, because sometimes you got to take a step back and really look at the big picture.
And beyond the whole, and I know you said that it's not a stingy thing, there's an element of scarcity mindset with that, where I understand and we understand that to a certain extent, it's subjective, but to a certain extent, you work hard to generate business. And we understand that every client could potentially be a 3% ticket to you. So we understand that. So if you go into it with that mindset that I need 3%, well, hell, if that's what you need, then make it like from the buying side, then put it into the contract. Don't just, if you really think that you're worth 3% and are refusing to show a house that's 2% because there's a delta of that 1%. I know we're getting in technical component. Well, go to your buyer. If you really do think that that's what you're worth, cool. Go to your buyer, but don't keep them from a house that could realistically be theirs, which again, it actually goes against what your license says, by the way.
Yeah, your fiduciary duty is not to yourself; it's to your.
You and I
clients.
have had that conversation with other agents, Joseph, where if we'll kind of get off of that, but that whole mindset is important. Now, let's talk about the strategy that kind of leverages on the group strategy, and it's the referral pod. So the referral pod is getting a Joseph together, getting a Pat, our producer, together, getting myself together, getting another agent involved. And let's just, for sake of this example, because Joseph and I know Texas, I really don't know any other state. So how this works is Texas is massive. It's huge. So there are some big metropolitan areas in Texas. So the 4 biggest ones happen to be DFW, Dallas, Fort Worth, Austin, San Antonio, and Houston. So we have 4 major markets. You don't work all 4 major markets. You barely work half or a third of your major market yourself. So the way that the referral pod works is I would be the Dallas Fort Worth agent, would be a huge undertaking, but for our just explanation, I would be the DFW agent. Joseph would be our Austin agent. Pat would be our San Antonio agent. And then let's just call it YouTube would be our, who did I leave out? Houston agent. So now we've covered the 4 major markets. The business that you're going to see go on the referral groups and just in life altogether is going to gravitate somewhere around that. Of course, it's not the entire business, but you've at least covered 3 additional markets that you weren't a part of. So I could only work the DFW area, but now I've opened a revenue stream in San Antonio, in Austin, and in Houston. So having a referral pod that is active and committed to this strategy of joining all these referral groups and vouching for you when the opportunity comes up is massive, because you need to sleep, they need to sleep, you need to work, they need to work. So if you work as a group, if you work together, what you can do is, hey, Joseph, anytime you see a DFW referral, you know what to do. And you're going to say, absolutely. So I get tagged. The other members, so Pat and YouTube, they tag me as well. So now I have 3 people vouching for me. That is powerful. That's the referral pod. You can make it bigger. And I suggest that you do make it bigger, but don't get past 10, because then we're running another business that you don't want to be running unless you're Joseph. But that's the referral pod.
Yeah. No, I again, I enjoy that strategy as a business owner and supporting other business owners, right? We've got to get better at that in this real estate business. I think it's, it's for too long, people have called it a cutthroat business. That's because we make it a cutthroat business, right? As I say, we as agents as a whole, and it doesn't have to be that way, right? And the pod just, it gives you the opportunity to support other people. And, again, another thing that I'm a fan of is law of reciprocity. The more people that I get to help and tag in these different groups, again, like Jaime said, you can only limit yourself to so many and so many keywords that you're tagged in or tagging others in, the more that I'm going to get back. And that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. If you can start living that way, even if you're not expecting them to tag you in it, you're going to wake up one day or at the end of the night, you're like, oh man, they tagged me in a post. I got to go talk to this person because, or I get to go talk to this person because, they've tagged me and they believe in me. And now I get to go have these conversations. And so that strategy is fantastic as far as relationships are concerned. All right. And not only that, the other people in those groups are going to see your name, right? So it also offers branding that most people aren't even thinking about as a second level of being able to receive business. But, oh man, I've seen Jaime's name. I've seen him tagged multiple times. Let me go check out his YouTube. Let me go check out his Facebook. Let me send him a message. I'm thinking about listing my house. Or I'm thinking about buying a house, right? Or my cousin Pookie is thinking about buying a house. As soon as they get off the crates and stop jumping off the crates, they're thinking about buying a house. So that's a fantastic strategy that I think more people can to actually deploy to receive referrals. Another way to do that, Jaime, whenever it comes to these groups, is whenever you're building this pod, if you call it a referral pod, right? If you can create a video for each person in the pod, then what you want to do is each of you will have a video that you can then send out on that person's behalf, or you have for yourself, so that whoever they're tagging, as far as a lead is concerned, can get to know who you are as well, right? Like, hey, here's Jaime, here's a video that he shared about who he is and what he does and what area he serves. Not sure if he matches exactly what you're looking for, but at least get to know who he is, right? So they tag you and they drop your video, right? And that's so powerful because everybody else is just tagging some random agent. And now they're dropping your video, your YouTube video, or if you have it in your Facebook business page, and they get to hear your voice, they get to see your face, they get to know what you do. And that is so, so powerful if you're trying to take it to the next level as far as a referral pod is concerned.
You absolutely nailed it. When it comes to, we don't want to actively, maybe I shouldn't say this, but we don't want to actively search out these opportunities. We would love for them to fall in our laps. That happens rarely, but that does happen. So when it comes to the referral going out, back to your point, there's going to be those people that send out the referrals. They're going to get inundated with comments. They're going to get inundated with DMs. Some people are going to call. So whenever I personally do referrals, I say no calls, just DM. That's it. But so many people are going to reach out. The key and the important thing that Joseph emphasized there is standing out, because you have to make a split second decision. Sometimes maybe you just got a call from a place through one of your ads or whatever, and like, yeah, I don't work that area, but hey, let me connect you with one of my partners. Well, they're expecting a call back, so you need to go and you vet somebody out as quickly as possible, and hopefully connect them with the right agent that will actually convert the lead and give you what you're due, right? So standing out is extremely important and cannot be discounted. So the strategy that Joseph just laid out is a way to stand out, to build upon another strategy that we're going to talk about, which I'll go ahead and share it, which is personal branding, where the more out there that you are, the more people see you. So your name comes up. Sure, you may not have won that one for that particular agent because either, let's just say, there's a need in Austin and I tag Joseph, the entire pod tags Joseph. For whatever reason, Joseph didn't get that referral. Well, guess what? Everyone else saw Joseph's name now. And that's the point that Joseph mentioned. Well, next time that an Austin need comes up, which happens a lot, well, guess who people are going to start thinking about? So this pod that you manufactured, let's get that straight, that you manufactured actually grows larger by people that have no vested interest in Joseph getting that business, but they just know that they have an answer, what they think is an answer of, well, I've seen Joseph every time Joseph gets tagged. Well, I'm just going to tag him. So your pod just grows larger without necessarily doing much. So that's a huge thing. That branding is huge.
Yeah. So I'll tell a quick story. Whenever I was still selling in Austin, one of my deals, I think it was like a $400,000 deal, roughly about $400,000. This agent reached out to me. They reached out to me like they knew me, right? And I was like, I have no idea who this person is. Hey man, I got a friend. They're moving to Austin from Houston, as we were talking about, right? These metro areas, and they're gonna be looking in this price point, and they're gonna be there in 2 days. Can you put together a list of homes for them to go see? I'll send you an email so that you have their contact information. They know you're going to be reaching out already. I'm like, man, I don't even know who you are. This could be fake. Sure enough, 2 days later, I call them, I text them, have a conversation. They come into town. I think we looked at 2 or 3 houses. They made a decision, bought the house, got my deal, sent the referral fee out, right? That all came. And later I found out, he was like, oh yeah, I started following you on Facebook because I started watching your videos. You're talking about marketing, you're talking about Austin, and I just like the way you're doing things. So I was going to try to model some of the stuff that you're doing in my business in Houston. And so going back to what Jaime said, I'll tell you guys exactly what I was doing. I was going and touring new construction houses because I didn't have any listings. I was a new agent. I would tour a new construction house, take pictures of the houses, take pictures of the sign of the actual community that I was visiting that day. And I would post almost every single day about real estate and new construction. So what do you think people think about me? They think Joseph is the new construction master. I think at that point I'd probably like sold 4 or 5 houses, right? But to that guy, he was like, Joseph knows all the neighborhoods. And if I'm going to send somebody and they're going to be looking to buy a house and it's new construction, even if it's not new construction, Joseph is going to be able to take care of them, right? Because he knows all these neighborhoods. So you have to keep that in mind whenever you're not just building the pods, but branding yourself. Like the more that you can post about different locations, because a lot of times it's buyers, right? Because buyers are traveling. Sellers are listing in that location. So you're going to be looking at buyers. So the more content you can create for buyers to receive referrals, you're going to get a lot of people who are interested in what you're talking about because they don't know the stuff that you know. And I think too often we as real estate agents forget that most people know like 1/80th of what we know, right? Like it's such a small percentage of what we actually know, and especially when it comes to neighborhoods. And so they're going to be looking for people who know a lot, which is you, if you do it the right way. And you may not know anything about the neighborhood, except there's some houses for sale and the price point. But if you're posting about it, people believe that, and then you can go find the information that you need.
100%, 100%. So really digging deep into the personal branding that you can do, like that was a great illustration, perfect example of what that looks like. When I share an email, it took me a while to find it, but here it is a couple of days ago. Jaime, I got this email. It looks like 9 days ago. I may need a referral agent for an agent in Houston, Texas. You're the only agent I know in Texas from your YouTube channel. Keep up the great work. So that's a little bit of personal branding, which again, Texas is huge. Houston is not my market. I have agents in that market, but it's not one that I'm going to touch. It's just going to be that connection. And then I'm on my way. Could I command a small sliver of something? For me, it's not worth, for me personally, it's not worth it. I'm not trying to say I hate money, but for me personally, it's not worth it. I would much rather the agent that I'm referring to takes the slice from the actual work. I could get a connector fee, but I'm not, it's not something that I do. So that's an opportunity for you as you're building your personal brand, as you're sharing what you're doing, as you share who you are. You don't know who's watching. So it kind of goes back full circle to a point that we were trying to illustrate of, you may be rejecting agents right now and saying, don't accept friend requests, thinking that this is a slot for my buyers, this is a slot for my sellers, and failing to realize that those agents that are trying to connect with you for whatever their reasons may be, whatever motives, those can become strong allies for you because they don't know everybody. I don't know an agent in Kansas. I just don't. I don't know an agent in North Dakota. I just don't. Actually, I lied on both because we have agents there, but just going through the illustration there of, you're not going to know everybody. We've talked about referral groups. We talked about the referral pods, and with the personal branding, there's a lot of damage that you can do just by being out there. You didn't have to meet these people for coffee. You certainly didn't have to cold call these offices and meet everybody. You didn't have to fly halfway across the country to a conference and try to network and whatever. That just did not happen. You became the magnet, you became the star, you became that attraction that people are coming to and are vouching for you because you showed a little bit of, you engaged people on social media, you educated them to the best of your ability, and you invited people to work with you in some capacity. It's truly that simple. We just overcomplicate it sometimes. We're trying to do retargeting ads. We're trying to do, we're trying to become the #1 Instagram influencer. We're trying to hop over here on TikTok, get our YouTube channel to 100,000 subscribers. We're trying to send direct mail pieces out. And I'm speaking for myself. So I say we, and I mean that. That's what we tend to do. Let's just step back for a quick second, acknowledge what we're going to do, and then just do it.
So when it comes to this referral side of things, I really want agents to take a step back, like Jaime said. And I want you to think what it would feel like, whatever income you made last year. And just think about if you just had 5 extra referrals at 75% of whatever your average price point was that you sold or bought or helped buyers with. If you had 5 extra deals, what would that have done for your life? Right? And whenever you think about that number, I want you to think the things that we're talking about that will take 5 minutes of your day, are they worth it to you? Would that 5 minutes of your day each morning or end of the evening be worth 5 extra deals? 75% of 5 extra deals, right? I've ventured to say probably most people would say, yeah, it's definitely worth just posting in a Facebook group, taking a picture of a new construction house that I'm going to be going by anyway, or this neighborhood. Tagging, going in and setting up tags for myself so I'm alerted for tags in different groups. That is, if that's not worth the extra minimum of 5 deals for free, I don't know how people, I don't know. I think we both maybe think differently about business and how to work much, much smarter, but receive very close to the same amount of money for much less effort. Right.
Yeah, it's a philosophy thing at that point. It really is. Joseph, we don't do that on this channel or on this podcast truly ever. But I think since we're talking about referrals and kind of, really, showing some blueprints on how to actually get some referrals, I think that you've got something that does not exist. I think that you created something that does not exist in the marketplace that has been wildly successful. And again, we don't do this, so I know that the audience out, once they give us that 5-star review that we're always very appreciative for, once they give us that 5-star review, I think that they're going to be interested in learning what you have going on, because it's unique when it comes to referrals, when it comes to get listings. Listen up, listings. What is that?
Well, first off, thank you, Jaime, for bringing it up. Number one. Number two, those of you who are listening and watching know that I'm very apprehensive of sharing material on our podcast because are the things that I do. I like to share information just to help you out. So first off, thank you, Jaime, for giving me the opportunity to talk about it. And number two, I'm just very apprehensive about sharing this type of stuff, but because I love organic growth. However, what I want people to understand is for my business and what we've been able to do over the last, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, I guess since like 2014, 2015, is put ourselves in a really good position as a family and as a business. And that has afforded us to do things that other people can't risk. And that's not to knock them. They're growing their business. They're trying to get to where they're trying to get to as a company. We are now offering our seller referral program is what we're calling it. I think whenever I wrote it, I was like SRP, right? Seller referral program. And so with the seller referral program, essentially what you do is you pay $99, and then we're generating leads for about $2 to $5 on average. The most interesting thing about this particular seller referral program, and you can go look at my post, there are some markets where we're generating a dollar lead. Some posts are where we're generating, $3 to $5 leads. If you close a deal, since I'm a licensed agent, you pay us a referral fee. The beautiful thing about that is you're paying $99 per month. Once you close that deal, we give you the $99 per month back. So let's say it takes 6 months for you to close the deal. That's roughly $600. Whenever you pay the referral fee, we subtract or credit back $600. So you got a listing for the cost of a referral fee, right? So let's say you start getting closings on average after it usually takes about, what we see is about 2 to 3 months to start getting your listings consistently, meaning you start getting 1 to 2 realistic listings every month from a program like this. You basically, every time you pay $99, you get that money back. And all you're paying for is for me to send you people who want to list their house or sell their house. And so it's been really interesting because we launched this program at the beginning of August, like fully launched it and started going after it. Because of what we're offering, it's almost too good to be true for a lot of agents, and they just don't believe it. So we're gonna have to start doing testimonials and all that stuff so people can see it's real. There's nobody out there doing that because they can't afford to, and they're not willing to take that risk. I was scared to take the risk, to be honest with you. Right. But we have people who have $800,000 houses that they're listing. We have, I think a telling Jaime a $400,000 or $500,000 house is going to be listed. So that agent's going to make 75% of the deal. And then guess what? Their money that they paid towards ad spend, they're going to get that money back. Now you can increase your ad spend with us if you want to spend $1,000 or $5,000. That's fine. We're only going to credit back $99 per month, by the way. I want to be very clear, but you can spend as much as you want because it all goes towards ad spend. So we're actually not taking a fee up front. And so it's, I don't know, I think it's just a way for me to live the thing that I've been talking about for years, which is help others, and be able to provide blessings because I do have the skill set of marketing, and I've been blessed with that through hard work, of course, and an interest in it. And now basically you can get listings for quote unquote free. And yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's a beautiful thing, I think. And I feel blessed to be able to offer it to people. I think my wife thinks I'm crazy half the time because I offer things like this. She's like, people would have just signed up for $99. And actually, I think we were up to 70 people. And then I made the announcement. And so they were like, what? You're also going to give us our money back? Like, yeah, it's after closing, you get your money back. It's pretty simple. And the people are just blown away because they just don't know how we're able to do it. And it's like, I trust something that's higher than me, and I trust you as agents to be able to do your part because I'm going to do my part. So yeah, anyway, that's the program in a nutshell. Hopefully I explained it well.
Folks, if you haven't already signed up, if you haven't already DM'd this man, then I was about to be very morbid. No. So do it. Do it. So here's the thing. Joseph has spent years learning all this and testing this, that hundreds of thousands of dollars spent, managed, all that fun stuff. So in terms of who is behind this, the results that you're going to generate, that's already a given. So that's going to happen. That is your option right now. And when I tell you that, since I know a good amount of the marketers, the good ones and the terrible ones. So if you want a short list, just let me know. Actually, I wouldn't do that. So they're going to stay.
I would.
But so having seen the landscape, having seen a certain mafia out there, I'll even leave their name out now because I just don't have that much respect for them. But having seen the way that other folks operate, just with the hope of something that's going to work, is just, there really is no competition. It's really a no-brainer. And I encourage you to reach out to Joseph, because again, we're talking about referral fees, and this is effectively how knowledgeable, how confident, how transparent Joseph is with it. And it's really super disruptive because he's not asking you for $2,500, $5,000 a month. And then on top of that, let's do some ad spend. He's not asking you for that. So for $99, it should actually be way more, but for $99, you are giving it an opportunity. You're giving it a shot. If it was free, then of course everyone else would do it and then be complaining that they got all these leads that they never followed up on. And I was about to even try to justify the $95 of why that's even being charged, but I don't think there's even a need.
It's funny whenever I talk to some of the agencies in like large markets like California, they're like, well, how is this possible? Like, how can you even make this happen? And I, like you said, I'm transparent, right? Like, we have to have money to create the ads. I'm not going to pay for your ad spend. You got to run a business. You have to have skin in the game. And $99 to get leads. By the way, 100% listing leads. We don't work on the buyer side. And by the way, if your seller also buys a house through you, we don't take a referral fee on that. So if you do happen to double end a deal, you get basically all of that. We just get the referral fee. And so when I talk to people, they're like, I just paid somebody $2,600 or $2,500, right, for a setup. That's just the setup. Then I have to pay them $300 in ad spend, and then I have to pay for the text messaging software to automate some text messages. And so we're having this conversation with this particular agent, and he's not the only one, by the way. There are multiple have done this, and we have a chat. So all the agents that are in the program have a chat. That's how transparent we are. Like not a Facebook group where you lose things. It's a chat. Like you have a conversation there. If there's something bad, there's something good, all of it. I don't care. I want everybody to be able to see what's going on, right? And in that chat, he was like, I received more leads already from this program compared to the other program in the first, I think it was 5 to 10 days, and also have addresses of people that are considering listing. And they're just blown away because it's like, oh, it's only, excuse my drainage over there for our office, but it's only $99, and you're outperforming something that I'm paying $300 per month for, that I paid $2,600 up front on the setup. And just, I don't know, I just feel like I've always felt like there was a better way to do things. It just took me time to get there for myself financially, and now I get to bless other people.
Absolutely. So as we get ready for the dismount again, so what would be the best way to contact you? Is it going to be DM you?
Definitely Facebook. Facebook. You won't find me anywhere. You're not going to reach me anywhere else, because awesome. I don't try to have conversations with people, especially with this price point. There's way too much stuff going on in my life. But I go in and I have actually a monthly call with all the agents, by the way. So, but if you want to reach out to me to get started in this, reach out via Facebook. My team will handle everything. They'll set everything up.
Yeah. If you're asking for a lot of clarifying questions, this is not the program for you. I'll be honest.
We have a video. We sent out a video. It answers most questions. I just created another video because there's some questions that I didn't have in it. So we'll get both videos to you, so you have most of the questions answered that have come up in the past.
If you're trying to get the ins and outs of this, then you're just you're not the right fit. And I'm sorry. I don't mean to speak on your behalf, Joseph, but that's it. If you're trying to haggle for price, you're not the right person, and you might not be in the right business, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
If
for
that's what,
$99, if you're haggling for $99 in the referral fee, you're either at the wrong brokerage or you're in the wrong business. That's my personal opinion.
yeah. So not trying to demonize anybody, but that's really, I'm being as transparent as I can. All right. So a few comments here before we head to dismount, and then we call it episode 48. Paid Facebook ads or YouTube, which is better for free leads for real estate? Well, if you're doing paid ads, then that
eliminates that one.
free. So if you're doing, free YouTube marketing didn't help. So I'll rephrase the question: Facebook or YouTube for free leads for real estate? Really, both of them work. As far as the higher conversion rate, I would go with YouTube. What would you say?
Yeah, I would agree. I think if you're looking for a higher conversion rate, people get to know you on YouTube. If you're looking for pure leads that are going to convert over time, and you're willing to put in the work to go through finding the needle in the haystack, then Facebook. It just depends on where you are with your time and what you feel comfortable with. If you can do both 100%. Why not try to get business from two things that are free?
All right, Joseph. So we are ready for the dismount as we're back on the saddle, and we've been covering how to get some referrals. What is up? So I'll go first on our dismount. I think that with referrals, I think something that might keep you from actually pursuing referrals as an active way of lead generation is some mindset. We talked a little bit about that already. See it as another revenue source. See it as a way to expand your reach, expand your business. And then also, only because you are generating something that is maybe you're not going to get the entire 100% commission on, does not mean that it ends there. That client is now yours. You get to nurture, you get to bring some additional business out of them through future referrals from that client. So we're not talking about just one transaction. If you're only thinking about one transaction, then again, I ask that you reconsider and think of it more of a long-term, think of it as a wealth building opportunity, as opposed to, I got my commission check, I'm bouncing, I'm going to go figure out something else. If you have a transaction-based mindset, then your business is going to be very transactional, and you're not going to be in business long.
Yeah. What I'll say about this whole thing, we're talking about referrals for this particular podcast, is I want you to consider the long-term effects of actually taking referrals and giving referrals. If you're taking referrals and you've set yourself up that way and people get to know you and your branding, one, that person who buys a house that comes to you as a referral is going to list at some point. What? Two, guess what? They're going to start making new friends in the city that they've just moved to. So if you leverage them, meaning you get to know them, you send them, weekly, monthly information, have them on your YouTube, guess who's going to come up as the first person when they start meeting these new friends in the market? Their new job they're at, their barbecues they're going to, their kids, if they have kids, their friends' birthdays, all those relationships are going to be your relationships as an agent. So don't think of these referrals as one-off transactions. That 75% you made can turn into so much more money. So you have to think way, way beyond, because you're not in it for a year. You're not in it for 2 years. Well, some of you might be if you're thinking transactional, as Jaime said, but for those of you who are in it for the long game, remember, you need to make sure that you're thinking about every deal as multiple deals, not just a singular deal.
Boom, mic drop. Episode 48 in the books, getting referral real estate leads. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.